Thank you so much for staying with us. My guest, Arowa Ismail, Chairman, Founder, Board of Trustees, Center for Northern Awareness and Development, joins me now. Thank you so much for coming over.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So good to talk about development in Nigeria, especially Northern Nigeria. If you take a look at the report, recent one from the National Bureau of Statistics, talking of multi-dimensional poverty, the incidence of poverty is in Northern Nigeria. And it should be a source of concern and worry for all. Your perspective.
Good morning once again. It's a pleasure to be here. Just like you said, we are very much aware of these statistics. We are very much aware of these indices. That is the more reason why the body in the first place was put together as Center for Northern Awareness and Development. There are arrays of organizations trying to do same, but we went a step further to see how we can really reach the grassroots. Go by the name. We say Center for Northern Awareness and Development. Awareness is lacking, or basic information is lacking. That is why the group has come to see how these people can be educated, how can be sensitized on the way and manner to do things, so that we don't get, so that we can get out of the current situation.
Who are you educating? Who are you raising the awareness on? Those in public offices or the citizenry?
Generally, the traditional rulers, the people in authority, the teeming population, the students, the youth groups, the religious leaders, and everybody put together. These are the people we are educating and what needs to be done so that we can move on. Now, before now, the North wasn't like this. We used to have what we call monolithic North, as espoused by the founding fathers, like Sardauna of Sokoto, Sir Ahmadu Bello of blessed memory, Bakar Tafawa Balewa. Then you now have Sir Kashim Ibrahim, former governor of Northern Nigeria, and you have General Usman Hassan Katsina. These people, what they meant for the country, the region rather, before the air country, was that monolithic North. They never looked at you where you come from. They never want to know the religions you belong. Now, they were able to integrate every part of the North, and development can be everywhere. Now, that is what necessitated our recently conducted conference. The conference was tagged First Northern Development Awareness Conference, which held on the 14th December here in Abuja. We're interested to know that the theme of the conference was striving towards the restoration of a...
North is no longer monolithic?
Yes, North is no longer monolithic. North seems to be polarized.
So how did we get to that point?
That is where we are, and that is our concern.
I'm asking, why did it not get to that point? You mentioned those that drove one Northern agenda and implemented it.
Yes.
But not same to the...
I don't want, because I don't want to apportion blame to people at this point. We know things have really gone wrong. Certain persons did not go the way and manner the founding fathers established all of these things. But now that we have found ourselves in this situation, what we need to do to get out of it is what exactly we are trying to do. We know something has gone wrong. They never follow the path of these people. If they follow the path of these people, we would have found ourselves where you saw companies, industries flourishing. But today, that cannot be said of that. Most companies have gone comatose. Most companies have collapsed. And you can see that with those number of companies in the past were engaged, were employed, engaged, and a lot of things were happening. All these criminalities that is happening today were never seen like that.
A problem, Dick's dictum, the problem identified is I wanted us to identify the problem, because from there we'll progress to the solution. Monolithic not then, now, no. Where? How did we, is it an issue of injustice, not bringing equity or fair play? How did we get how did they not get to this point?
Now, a lot of things could be responsible for this. Selfishness, greed, injustice, mischief put together. Okay, somebody, when it comes to election, you all put yourselves together and say you are all North, and you conduct elections, and you come put yourself up for elections, and you're supported as another person. On emergence, when it comes to the sharing formula, that is where you begin to know the inferior part of North and the superior part of North. So, by doing so, that is why I say mischief and selfishness on the part of these people. They tend to come under the guise of religion, come under the guise of ethnicity, come under the guise of a political affiliation to cause divide amongst our people. And that is what the body is trying to say. No, because we have identified ethno-religious and political intolerance as the major bane of northern Nigeria's underdevelopment. Why I'm saying northern is that I am not saying that the other part of South are not part of us. When you get it right in the North and the Southern people can get it right, that is Nigeria is good for it. So that is essentially why we still hammer on this issue of we trying to get back to where we were and even improve upon it. Now,
what's the pathway towards that?
The pathway towards that is that just like the conference that we just held, is an agenda setting. An agenda setting in the sense that about 7 to 8 areas were discovered or identified as the likely problems that need to be worked upon. And if we can get it right, fine. For example, just like I said, we have seen that ethno-religious and political intolerance as brought to us by the elite, so to speak, is one of the problems we are facing. And we shall face it head on to see that, yes, we should see ourselves as brothers, we should see ourselves as northerners, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of where you come from, irrespective of your political leanings.
How can that be achieved? Who should be driving the process?
That is exactly what we are doing. Now, as I told you earlier, there are arrays of organizations already existing in the North. But our own, the exceptional way, our own is different. Different in the sense that we have physical presence in the 19 other states and the FCT. We have presence in the 419 LGAs. We have presence in the 4,611 wards. And we have presence in the 93,606 units. Now, we are not just this part of NGOs that will sit on the table and begin to just repress conferences and NWL. We want to walk the talk. By doing so, I want to equally tell you that these bodies, such as Arewa Consultative Forum, Northern Central People's Assembly, Northern Union, Northern Elders Forum, and so many other organizations, we are going to bring them together. We are going to find a nexus between them. If the nexus is not there, there have not been connection. Now, apart from this body, there are other pro-Northern groups existing. The Northern Governors Forum, the Northern Speakers Forum, the Northern Senators Forum, Northern House of Reps Forum, Northern Algon, Northern Student Body, the Northern Council of Traditional Rulers of Northern Extraction. All these are there. Now, what is this body trying to do? We are going to serve as a watchdog to come in between all these people and even trying to find, to apply or to have observer status in most of their meetings. Northern Governors Forum, we are there. What is your resolution? Resolve and give us this to go and implement, because we are practically on ground in every part of the region. So it is not just you resolving on issue, coming up with a resolution. Get us your resolution, and we'll be part of this resolution, and we'll take it to where it should be. Now, I want to tell you something. There is no first-class traditional rulers in the North that is not a patron to Cenad. They have their letters with them, and most of them have replied. Some of them attended the conference as Father of the Day. If not because of the activity that coincided with our program that day, when the Emir of Kefi was celebrating the 7 days, most of the emirs wanted to do this occasion.
Now, your organization has set out to solve a problem. Yes. And you say you have reached out to institutions, groups within the North. Yes. What will you be doing specifically to cause a change in attitude, in action? Because these are part of what we agreed led to this problem. Yeah. That monolithic North no longer holding together. Yeah. How will these groups Are these groups, are they not part of those that cause the problem? How can you use them to become the solution?
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. During the conference and now in this hall, and I want to reiterate, this is not time for blame game. It has already happened. I don't want to also point accusing fingers at everybody. What that matters to us now is how do we move from here? And what are those things we need to do? We have identified 8 areas, as I mentioned to you, which I've taken one already. Agriculture, look at our land. We have vast land, but it has not been put to use. We have to talk about mechanized agriculture. It's not the subsistence agriculture we're talking about. We want to see how we embrace mechanized agriculture to take the advantage of our land mass and our population towards producing food for our consumption and for export. That is one. 2, entrepreneurship. Most of us are not entrepreneurial in nature. It's part of the topics that was delivered by one of the professors. We said entrepreneurship and development. Where is the place of northern Nigeria? How entrepreneurial? So we want to tell them, you must reawaken the spirit of entrepreneurship. Consciousness on the part of our people. For us to be entrepreneurial, we have to look at skills and all those things. Girl-child education is one of the topics at the conference. Most of our daughters, sisters should not be married at early ages. Allow them to go to school, finish maybe secondary school, and you can go to universities and so on. By so doing, you are breeding quality people within the society. You know that women are the most critical aspect of every nation, because women, they are there with the children. So if we now train them to a level, you will see that it will tend to add more quality of life to these people. So there's essence, the essence, we need to stress more on girl-child education. And again, girl-child education, if ladies are not married at early ages, this issue of fistula, for example, vesicle, VVF, will be reduced by substantially and all of those things. Now, another angle we look at is that the need for us to imbibe this culture of preventive medicine in the north. There's this saying that goes, prevention is better than cure. We tend not to really adopt that aspect of preventive medicine so much in this part of our world, and this needs to be encouraged so that we go more of preventive. Now, we have abundant mineral resources and abundant mineral energy resources in the north. How well have we tapped into this? I speak to you professionally as a geologist. There is no part of the north that is not sitting on oil. There is no part of north that you don't have coal. A lot of minerals we have everywhere, but we have not tapped into this. Now, at this hour, I want to use Avenue to call on our governors. You don't need to have a gigantic industry or company before you could have the modular type. For example, let's say in my state, Kogi State, you don't need to wait until a Jokuta Steel company is completed. You could have your license and have Kogi Steel company at the
Are you thinking of tinkering with the constitution to enable states exploit these huge solid minerals that you can find in the north?
Yes. What we are saying is this. Even the constitution, the way it's constituted, we know you have concurrent and exclusive. Now, even though it has not been tinkered with, there are provisions you could have license and mine, just like any individual who could have license to mine anything.
The states could be
licensed by the federal government, regulatory agencies. Bring in the people together and say, this is Kogi, this is Kogi Steel Company Limited, where you now have people having shares in it. You know, maybe your own equity shareholding in the company may be 40% or 20%, as the case may be, while other people, foreign, and they will bring their technical expertise. Before you know, now you begin to produce produce your own steel. We have gold in our state, we have limestone, we have marble. I speak to you authoritatively as a geologist. We have not less than 34 gazetted minerals in Kogi State, which is about the highest before Nasarawa. Then another thing we talk about is the drug abuse. Yes, we can see that drug abuse could be linked to so many other factors, unemployment, because there's this saying that goes, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. But we want to go all out to tell our younger brothers and elder brothers the negative impacts or the implications that drug abuse, addiction will have on our society.
But there's an underlying element here.
Yes.
These beautiful points you have raised were implemented, but the underlying elements are absence of justice and presence of inequality. Two factors that broke up that monolithic knot. What are you doing to deal with those problems? Because you agree with me that without them, it may amount to all motion without movement.
Yeah. Again, I want to tell us that not the way you have painted it. We, yes, agree injustice here and there, but who is causing the injustice and to who? How do you define
Who's the victim?
Who is the victim? Who is the oppressor? How do you define injustice? To me, we are just being selfish, or we are not being mischief about it. Nobody is doing anything to anybody, as far as I'm concerned.
You believe there's no injustice?
What, like I'm telling you, to me, there's no. What are we talking about injustice here? What we are trying to say is that it is there stated in the Constitution. For example, now the Constitution says each state must have at least one ministerial nominee. Is there any part of the state in the country or the zone that have been denied a ministerial appointment? The answer is no. Are you getting my point? Now, let us not go into the, because I don't believe in blame games. Where we are now, things have gone wrong. We have to hit the ground rolling by.
So you believe there is no injustice in northern Nigeria in terms of the different social strata and composition that make up that region? Because I say this because we get a lot of complaints from. We speak to a lot of people. They said in the old northern region, for instance, that you see an undue concentration of institutions, projects in the Zaria Kaduna area, that almost every research institute is around that area. How many can you find in Kogi, your state? How many can you find in Makurdi, Benue State? These are some of the issues they point at and say, these are the underlying injustices that if they are not solved in the north, the monolithic north will become a mirage.
Now, let me take you to, that's a very beautiful question we have asked. Again, I want to hammer on mischief. When I say mischief, this thing is not just happening now. It has happened time immemorial. I want to put it to you that there is no, even before the coming of Abuja, there is no known northern person that has no building in Abuja. I stand to be corrected. There is no known living northern person that has no house in Abuja. As we speak, we have liaison offices in Kaduna, because that is the headquarters of northern Nigeria. Are you getting my point?
The old northern Nigeria.
The old northern Nigeria. Up to tomorrow, it remains the headquarters of northern Nigeria. The same way you now have the traditional, the palaces or liaison offices as well of traditional institutions. That is where most meetings from beginning has been holding. Now, the fact is, it is not where these institutions are situated. Is it that place, is it that it is only the people from Kaduna that pass through those institutions
that are benefited?
The answer is no.
Okay, I think we leave it there.
No.
We wish you good luck as you continue to deal with this problem. And the good thing is that you're engaging the different interest groups in northern Nigeria towards achieving that. We wish you luck in that regard. Thank you so much. Arowa Ismail is the chairman and founder, Board of Trustees, Center for Northern Awareness and Development. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll take up another issue related to development. Do stay with us.